Here, we will separate combat into 3 pillars: melee, defensive, and ranged. That said, even if you want to be a mage or archer and dedicate yourself to attacking from a distance, at some point, you're going to have melee combat. So the first thing you should understand is that almost all skills consume stamina, tenacity/stamina, green bar, and special abilities like magic and war ash consume mana, mind/PF, blue bar. If you run out of mana, you can replenish using the specific flask, but not stamina. It will replenish itself when you are not doing any action, i.e. resting or walking. Having understood this, I make it clear that it is very important that you learn to walk away when your stamina is running out and let it regenerate. If you get stamina and have the need to dodge or shield, forget it, you'll take damage. I also remember that your attacks also suck stamina, so learning to manage attacks well is essential. There are, of course, items that can help you with this like rings, consumables and others, but you may find yourself in a situation where you won't have these items at your disposal, especially at first. So, I advise investing wisely in force. Being healthy is really vital. Another important factor is the dodges, and the most important of them, the roll. You can avoid all incoming damage with the dodge roll. You are immune to all damage for those microseconds as you roll. This starts at the beginning of the roll, so you should time your roll to dodge a split second before an attack hits you. One factor to consider is that if you are too heavy, you will roll slower, and this will affect how fast you roll. That's why it's important that you learn early on that the heavier your character is, the slower your actions, such as running and stamina recovery, will be. Manage the sum of the weights of the equipment your character equips well. More combat tips. If you use weapons with 2 hands, their effectiveness will be doubled, based on the stats they scale at. This can make all the difference when you are defending or attacking certain enemies in some situations. If you hold Y or triangle and then RB or R1 and LB or L1 respectively, you will do this. If you use heavy attack, RT or R2, after a successful block, you will do a counterattack, which will do a lot of damage. By pressing and holding any attack button, you will be able to deal more damage, but will use more stamina. Remember that you will not regenerate stamina while defending with your shield or other weapon. So defend only when the time is right. Experience heavy attacks with both hands and switch mid-battle. You can also attack with a shield while using it with both hands. It does damage, and some are even surprising. Shields and other weapons have a damage reduction or resistance rating, which you can see in the menu. The best shields provide 100% reduction in physical damage or in some other specialty, like magic damage for example. However, these shields are usually heavier. If it lands a heavy or well-placed die, it can break the enemy's defense and leave them stunned, which will give you time to land more attacks. And, with the enemy stunned, you can stand directly in front of an enemy and hit the LB or L1 light attack, which will deal critical damage. You can also land critical hits from behind enemies. Simply approaching them by some means such as stealth or mid-combat or when the enemy is stunned and using light attack will cause an animation that will deal critical damage. However, not all enemies suffer from this type of blow. Enemies often go into a recovery period after performing a few attacks, which leaves them open to being hit. Some enemies also have weaknesses. The most obvious weak point is usually the head. Heavy attacks to the head will not only deal more damage, but will also give you a greater chance to stun the enemy. Poise/balance is an important stat to get familiar with. The more poise/balance you have on your character, the more damage you will receive before getting stunned. Tips listed by editor Daniel FXDS and published on the Revolution Arena website. For more tips on Elden Ring or many other games, visit our website. The link is in the description. Don't forget to follow our channel and press the bell to follow our next videos.